Hi, in this video I want to quickly go over the reminders pop-up screen. First of all, you need to make sure that you've actually entered something into TATEMS that would trigger a reminder. So that means adding in something that's been done in the past so that TATEMS knows that something needs to be done in the future. So for example, loop service, we've entered in a 10,000 mile loop service. You can see an interval of 10,000 here, and that we have an odometer reading of when it was done at. And then you have to periodically update the odometer readings over here in order for TATEMS to know that you've come closer to reaching that threshold. All right, so that goes with anything. Well, in loop services, that's the only area where you can base things on odometer slash kilometer, or odometer reading, I should say, hours meter readings, or on days, which would be a date interval. And everything else is going to be, pretty much everything else except for parts are going to be based upon dates and days, right? So for example, registration and taxes, you're going to enter in the month that that registration is due, the last date it was done, and then the interval that it gets done at in months, right? So if we go over here to reminders pop-up, when you first open TATEMS, it asks you if you want to check for reminders. And it's the same screen you're going to see here if you go to forms and reminders pop-up. So that shows us the reminders pop-up screen. So I'm going to go over here to loop service first. And so in here we have the equipment information, sort of the current odometer and hours meter readings. And then we see the loop service types that are currently due for these pieces of equipment. So we can sort by any of these columns here. So if we wanted to see the most past due or currently coming due items, we can sort it by that column. And so what we've got now is we see here that this particular piece of equipment is 163 miles past due for its 10,000 kilometer or 10,000 mile oil change, right? So then once you've sorted it by that particular field, then you can click on print, and the print preview and the print will actually print out in that order that you've sorted it in the screen here. So you can do the same thing with days to go. If you wanted to see the most items that have the least amount of days to go or are the most past due, you can sort it by that field there, and so forth. Now on this print preview that I just showed you, you can also include the filters, and that's from the filters for this equipment. If we go over to the filters tab here, that's where the filters are entered. But if you wanted to print those out on your reminders printout, you can click that, include filters, click print, and then that will show you, along with the equipment, the filter part numbers for the items, those filter items for that vehicle. All right, and then the other thing is that we're going to go over here to inspection reminders. And inspection reminders has the print preview like the loop service, but it also has a print inspection forms from this list. So if you click on that, that's going to iterate through each piece of equipment and print out the entire checklist from the 90-day inspection tab, or it may say 365 or 180 if you've changed it to be a different interval for your inspections. It'll print out the inspection items list for each piece of equipment, and that way you can put them on a clipboard, go out and check them off, bring them back in, and then put it into TATEMS if you want to do it that way. And so that's one thing you do there. And then on the other ones, you've got taxes and registration. We've just got you can sort it by any of these columns as well. And so this right now, it's showing us all the items due in the next 30 days, or the next 10 days, I should say, right? I think, let's see here. Yeah, or past due. So all these items you can see are past due. They were all due previously in past years, because I'm in 2017 now. And so, so that's that particular tab. And the parts inventory tab will display the parts that need to be reordered if they've hit that minimum quantity on hand before reorder threshold. and that the track parts inventory for this part has been checked in the parts inventory screen. So that's how that's going to look there, and you can print out that list of items, and then you can see some of these other tabs, like the work orders tab. Well, pending work orders, this is going to show you everything that's pending as far as work orders goes. So everything that has not been completed yet. And you can do this is the complete by, so how soon you wanted to have it done. You can sort it by that field there and have it show you the most critical items up at the top. All right, if you wanted to have stuff done, if stuff could be done farther out or closer in, then you can sort it that way. And the driver's reminders shows you the driver's license number and the next physical due and the next commercial driver's license renewal due. All right. Now, how soon to be notified up at the top here, that is how you set how far in advance you want items to start showing up in the reminders pop-up screen. So right now for odometer notifications, it's set to show 1,000 miles before something is due. So if you have a 10,000 mile lube service and you've traveled 9,000 miles, then it's going to start showing up in the reminder screen, and it's not going to come off the reminder screen until you actually complete that 10,000 mile lube service to reset the reminder. Same thing with hours notification. This is set for 10 days before it's due, or 10 hours I should say before it's due. And the days notification is set for 10 days before it's due right now. You can change these. Once you've changed them, if you have to click close and then reopen the reminder screen to reset your list to correspond with your reminder notification, how soon to be notified choices. Up here at the top right, you have the print all reminders list. So this will just, instead of having to choose the print button for each reminders tab, it'll go through each tab individually, print all the reminders for that tab, and it'll just iterate through all of them and print them out as one large report, one after another. The reminders pop up it's set for 8 hours here. You can go from 1 hour to 8 hours. So while TATEMS is open, it will, every 8 hours, a little pop-up message is going to show, and it's going to say, do you want to check for reminders? And you can say yes or no. Same little message that pops up when you first open TATEMS. So that's what that does there. And then on the filter, you can choose to filter the list down below by customer. So if I chose customer, and then I could choose to filter by certain customers, and then I could choose to apply the filter, and it would reset the list to show me only the reminders for that particular customer. Okay, so that's it for reminders pop-up. Hopefully that's been helpful for you. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good one. Take care.